Hi YouTube and happy 4th of July weekend. You might be able to even hear some fireworks outside while I record this video. After what seemed like quite a long time, I've finally done something I badly wanted to do. And that is replacing the broken top joint on my Strida Mark I that was built sometime in the late 1980s. The original top joint I had, which I'll show you in a second, was cracked at the place where it forms a ball joint. Essentially, there's two pipes in here, another pipe and a ball joint, and then a socket formed out of the plastic. What's common, after weather exposure, lots of sunlight, and so on, is you end up with cracks in the plastic, as you can see here. And obviously, that would be a very bad thing while riding this because the ball could fall out of the socket and you will fall out of the bike. So what I did is I took the STL file that the creator of the Strida, or the wonderful inventor of this machine, Mark Sanders, provided online in GrabCAD, and I had that 3D printed in ASA. ASA is acrylonitrile styrene acrylate, which is a UV resistant form of ABS, as far as I know. It's really important to have something UV resistant because this is a bicycle. A bicycle goes outdoors. Outside, there's a thing called the sun, and that would end up degrading the plastic over time. So I'm really happy about that. It's also not brittle. I definitely would not have this printed in something like PLA. I feel like that would be a disaster waiting to happen. I have to be honest, replacing this was one of the most satisfying bike repairs I've done. And I found a lot of bike repairs a lot easier than I expected, but this was phenomenally easy and just a testament to how wonderful this bike is. You have standard size tires and tubes. I'm pretty sure that the belt, which already is low maintenance, can be replaced with an automotive timing belt, so even that's not hard to get. But anyway, as far as replacing this, the process is quite simple. And on the handlebars, you have these two caps, one to hold in the grips, and then secondly, to use the brakes to keep the bike from moving, to keep it stationary when, you have it folded up. Anyway, so you take those caps, you remove them. It takes a little bit of force, but you gently wiggle, and there's a couple grips, or not grips, but flanges, little rubber plastic flanges in there to hold this in, and you gently work that out, rocking back and forth. Then what you do is you pull off the grips. Mine were degraded, so I replaced them with these super squishy, fun foam grips. You can see they're form fitting. They're shaped for your fingers, and these really feel great. And I'm going to be storing this inside, so hopefully they don't UV degrade and start cracking like the ones I had before. Let me show you which. I think this was the right one that I replaced. The originals I still had, were all crackly here. Oh, there we go. I focused on it. So anyway, so you take the caps off, you take the grips off, and then you take off. I had taken the stuff that was on the handlebars off too, but then you have to take off the brake levers, and that's not quite as easy as it looks. You have to contract, I guess that's the right word, contract the brake lever. And then if you look inside here, you can see, you can see it even there. Yeah, you can see a screw. We're honestly able with a screwdriver in there, and you can go ahead and what's the word? You can unscrew it without affecting the cable, but I guess if you want to be really safe, you might loosen the cable all the way down or something over here, so you can stretch the cable a little bit without damaging it, and unscrew those. Anyway, so you do that on your left and right brake levers. Those pull off real gently. And then once those are off, that means you don't have, and you take off your random goodies, kaboom, happy 4th of July. Anyway, you take off your other goodies from your handlebars, and that exposes the left and right hand of the top joint. So in order to pull the left and right half of the top joint off, you remove 2 screws and this bolt here. I think this was an SAE socket. Well, I think these are all metric. So I'm sure if you work on a lot of bikes, you probably have some metric hex keys, Allen wrenches to take that off. And then after the originals come off, you'll have a couple brake cables inside of here, a couple pipes that are welded together, one extending out here, and then one extending up with brake cable coming out of it. You take the 2 halves off, put the 2 new halves in place, and then do everything in reverse order. Put I guess you could put the screws back in and then the bolt back in. And something really important to make sure these halves fit together is you make sure your brake cables and housings are coming out in that 3D printed hole down there. You don't want those to be wedged in between the halves. Otherwise, they definitely won't fit together, and you could get other bad issues. So that it takes a little finessing, but honestly, it's not that bad. Anyway, so replacement is really, really easy. I was thinking of painting these Strida letters, but that could go really wrong, and I just like the, base relief kind of feel here, and I think, it's still a Strida. It hasn't changed. And that's really it. I mean, it's a wonderful replacement part. Yeah, you can see the socket and ball joint there. It costs $42 to print this in ASA locally. I guess you could probably print an ABS for less, and then also you might happen to have access to free 3D printing. You might have a 3D printer and filament at home. There's all kinds of. I couldn't say exactly how much this would cost because it depends on where you go, but it's pretty affordable, and it's really worth replacing that. The best thing, though, is, now that this isn't cracked, I can fold this up as it's intended into its little stroller umbrella form factor. And, I'm very excited probably to take this to DC and use it for commuting or just, getting around attractions and stuff. I never would have expected a bike of this shape to be so comfy and so convenient, but it is. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe as always, and leave your comments down below. I hope this is helpful to all of you Strida owners, especially Strida Mark I owners, the original model built in the late 80s and early 90s. Thank you for watching.